Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Like, Share, Follow. And this week, I have the amazing Shelby McQueen, who is a University of the Sunshine Coast grad, but she's also now the media manager at Full Comms in London. So thank you for meeting with me so early in the morning, Shelby. And so the last time we spoke, I was actually lucky enough to interview you for my book, for my upcoming book. Yeah. And so at that stage, you were working for a different place, and you were handling some of the ads and things for Wrangler jeans. Is that right? So yeah. So it was a while ago. So tell me, like, from your journey from university to now, let me know, how did it all come about? How did you end up from the University of the Sunshine Coast to London?
Hi, Karen. Thank you for having me on here, by the way. It's very nice to catch up with you. So my journey from uni started with basically before I graduated, I started a business, just a social media business, which I then ran for the next 18 months while I was still in Australia. And I did that alongside also contracting for Sunshine Coast Digital Marketing Agency, a creative collective. So I did both of those things for a year and a half. And then at the end of 2017, I bought my one-way ticket and I went to London. However, when I went to London, I sort of took my business with me. So I had a transition period where basically I was winding down my business and finding work, because it's kind of a hard place to find work immediately. And then I got my first job at Reload Digital, which is where I was working with Wrangler jeans and a whole host of other, retail and e-commerce clients. And I worked there for a year and 2 months. And then after I'd sort of gained all this really cool experience and decided that I wanted to sort of move up a little bit, I got a job at Full Comms, which has given me a media manager role. So still a lot of the same disciplines and still a lot of the same work routine, but now I get to work in a couple of different mediums of advertising as well, so social media and also sort of paid search and print newspaper and all that kind of stuff. So it just sort of all started falling into place as and when I got more experience and just that there were new things that I wanted to move into and start trying.
Excellent. And so what are some, if you're allowed to say, what are some of the brands that you're working with now?
So now I'm actually in more of a retail sector. So I work with large housing developments that are I don't know if you would know any of the names, but Complete Moves and Papa Hector, Southern Home Ownership, these really big housing developments that basically have big apartment buildings in London, and they do campaigns and out of home advertising for all of their new developments, which is really cool.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. And so what was some of the best advice that you were given about during your career? Because you've left uni for a little while now, but what has been some of the great advice that you've been given?
I think someone once highlighted to me just how resilient I can be and how sort of valuable that paid off to be. So we went through a period at my first job where I ended up being the only operations team member with my certain skill in the whole agency, and someone just highlighted to me if I could choose any skill right now to have through this transition period of our company, it would be resilience, and you have just got a plethora of it. So keep up with it. It's really getting us through this whole period. So yeah,
that's a great compliment. And so do you think, because you managed to, when you got to London, you had some clients already, and then you started to look for work, and then you've not only done that, you've been able to actually progress and move up while you're there as well. So what do you think were some of the skills that set you apart from other people going for those roles, apart from resilience?
Thanks. I think a lot of it was just my experience. So having started gaining my experience from such an early point in my career, i.e. while I was still a student, but keeping that going, not having sort of a lull period, or not letting myself sort of fall out of momentum. So all of the experience that I was willing to sort of continue with and can showcase all through this sort of transition period, but also just every opportunity that came my way, just grabbing it with 3 hands and just being willing to learn about it as I go. And if I bit off more than I could chew, then chew like hell kind of thing. So, not being so siloed to one discipline, or not being so set in only wanting to experience one thing.
Yeah. And I know that this whole show came about actually from a discussion with a previous guest called Amy Roberts. And so basically we were chatting, and I'm talking about what I need to do. I want to do a live stream just to play with the medium. And we were talking about the Social Media Marketing Institute Awards, and she actually won last year the student category.
Oh.
But I don't know how it came up, but she mentioned that, I did an interview with you when you were still a student, talking about how you had paying clients as a student in social media. And I wanted to encourage other students to do that, to gain that real experience while they were studying. And I think we recorded an interview where you explained, and gave some tips to other students. And now Amy saw that, and she said that really inspired me to just get into it and do it and not be scared. And so this is how it all sort of came about. So it's funny that it's full circle. We're doing this again, but it seems to have a just be really effective by hearing someone else's story and how they actually did that.
Yeah, that's really inspiring.
Yeah. And I know you took one or two social media courses at USC, but you were already right into it. So you were had clients. And I remember even in one of the courses, we used real clients in that course, and you even picked up some paid work from those clients that were used in the course. So
I did, yeah, it was good networking.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. Yeah. And so when you're at uni, what are some of the skills that you learned at uni that really helped you in your current career?
I think going on that topic was really being able to put myself in the situation and put myself in the day-to-day life. When you sort of start uni and you're sort of figuring out all of the different things that you want to learn and your learning style and how you study and that kind of thing, it's so hard to then go as far as thinking about what is my day-to-day going to look like once I'm graduated, and what do I want to look like, and what are my actual responsibilities going to be, and what is my boss going to be like, and just all that kind of stuff. It's so hard to fathom all that while you're still, learning from a textbook. So I think it was really in those final semesters that we were pushed to have real world clients. We were pushed to do community engagement events. We were pushed to really put ourselves in that landscape and in that day-to-day routine. That's when things started clicking for me, and that's when things didn't feel so scary and things didn't feel so out of reach. And that was university was giving me this environment where I was half in, half out. I was still learning, and I was still a student. I still had that safety net, but it was pushing me to be no, go do an internship, or go and get some clients, or go and experience what it's actually going to be like once you're gone. And I think that was the most valuable environment, the most valuable experiences that I had at uni.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in that as well. I think it's so important to, and I try and get that happening as soon as possible, but to get students to get that real experience. And so thinking now, so what was a skill that you wish you had learned at uni that you had to develop once you were actually out in the field?
That's a hard one, because I think maybe in terms of life skills and work skills, I feel like I don't have a massive, well, this sounds a bit pretentious of me, but I feel like I haven't found a massive gap yet in certain actual skills. But I think one of the things I wish I maybe had taken advantage of at uni was I had a very specific subject where I didn't really broaden out to more of a wider perspective of just marketing itself. So I think when I first started my job in London, I was doing social media and I could really understand the platforms and I knew all the different theories and I was really comfortable with that. But then when I took a step back and thought, okay, what is my actual social media work? What kind of wider business impact is it having to this client? How else does it work with their other marketing tactics and channels? And how else can I be thinking about what I do to relate into everything else that's going on? And I just sort of had a little bit of a gap on more general marketing knowledge, I guess. But again, not necessarily a skill that I didn't take at uni. It was more something that I didn't choose to like learn. So
Yeah.
good question.
Okay, because I always want to keep developing as well and keep developing what we're offering so that we can, bridge that gap. And so what is one of the best sort of social media tools or bits of information that you have discovered in the last 2 weeks?
I have actually been following along with how powerful and how accessible in-app purchasing is becoming. So even so far as to be able to purchase in WhatsApp. So in Brazil, they've released that you can actually buy through things and send money through WhatsApp, which is just going to open up so many more avenues. But it's becoming so readily available to complete a full purchase on Facebook and Instagram that it's going to start changing the game even more than it already has. Like these channels are going to be so integral to businesses' success online that they're going to be their own marketing strategy in themselves, which they already are, but they just hold so much more physical value now, which before a lot of businesses, 5 years ago, they really struggled to see the value of social media as a monetary value, as something on paper. Whereas now we've got all of this amazing accessibility and data to be able to say, like, what we do is not just really beautiful and visual and people talk about it. It's actually a real business impact. So I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, is that sort of functionality on, say, Facebook, that in-app purchasing, is that available in the UK yet? Because I know Facebook was saying they were rolling it out, but we haven't heard any more since then.
No, it's in beta to certain big companies. I think last time I checked, I think Nike or Adidas or someone was trialing the store on their business page, but it's coming very soon.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be amazing, because there's a lot of sort of informal purchasing and transactions that go on anyway, but they mainly happen in Messenger. So, and it's really clunky. So, and I've spoken to business owners who use it in that way. So, yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's so much easier for all of us, and we won't have to leave the apps, which is kind of scary because I use them a lot now. So.
Your journey is there's going to be no intrusion into your journey. Like, people can just keep scrolling once they've spent who knows how much money on whatever they've seen.
It's going to be great. And what advice would you have to emerging social media professionals on how they can succeed in their career?
No surprises, but just get out there and start experiencing what it is that you want to do and all the things that are available to you in your chosen field. So like, don't wait until the very last semester to go get an internship, or maybe reach out to some local businesses that that don't have enough money to pay for someone to do their social media, and maybe just see if you can help them. Trial out some tactics that you've thought of, or anything that sort of helps you understand what the landscape looks like professionally will also help you understand all of the different things that you actually want to do within social media, because there's so many different facets that you can actually go into for social media. It's not all just like a cookie cutter job. So the sooner that you can experience that, and the sooner you can understand it, the better you'll be able to sort of like shape how your career starts looking from the get-go, really. So yeah, my advice in one word is just experience.
And what would you say because a thing that I constantly hear about why students don't create content, because when you're going for a social media job, it's the first thing the employers look at is the content that you've created on your own channels. They don't create content on anything other than the channels that they like. So, nothing on LinkedIn, nothing on, Facebook, but mainly just Instagram, which is fine, but you sort of need to show that you're diverse and have a variety. So creating their own content and also having clients. So I hear that people are just scared to do that. What would you say to them to try and get them past being fearful?
Oh, it's a hard one. I think one of the things that gave me the most confidence was that I started it while I was still at uni. So I had the safety net of, one, not relying solely on the whole paycheck because I was still a student. So it wasn't the be all and end all. It wasn't going to make or break me. But two, I had the likes of you and, other peers to sort of bounce ideas off and, go to for advice and sort of like have that peer-to-peer sort of brainstorm session to make sure, are my ideas stupid? No, they're not. They're actually really cool. Or, should I go after this? Yes, definitely. They're not going to shut you down. The worst you can get is just a no. But I think the earlier you start it, you've got the safety net of being at school, like still learning, still gathering all of that worldly information. And really, a lot of the people that I approached as a student were just willing and very happy to give me the experience. Like, it wasn't about, I need a 200% ROI on my ad spend. It was more like, yeah, you can help me, I can help you. This is a good relationship that we can form, especially because, they were just local business owners who didn't really know much about the platform anyway. So it was pretty much a win-win.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. And my final question to you is, who do you like, share, and follow?
I actually gather a lot of content from the Social Media Today company. So they just, every day, they're just posting platform updates for a whole diverse range of different platforms, which is, it's really insightful. I have the newsletter in my inbox every morning, but I also follow them on Instagram. But I also really like the content that's coming out of the Instagram creators channel. It's just very platform specific. It's very accessible. It's very easy to watch, easy to digest. So yeah, they're who I get most of my content from.
Excellent. And before we go, there's been a couple of comments. So I want to say hi to Anthony Roberto and to Joy Sri Krishna for popping in and saying hello. And so thank you so much for getting up early. It's like 7:30, nearly 8 o'clock in the morning. So I know you have to go to work, but it still might be a bit early for you. So thank you. And next week we're taking sort of a different turn. We have Lucas Whitaker, who is a USC graduate, but now he's actually a PhD candidate with the Centre of Behavioural Economics, Society and Technology at the Queensland University of Technology. That's a mouthful, but his research is so exciting. He's looking at deep fakes. So looking at how people can pretend to be, politicians. And so his PhD research is looking at that as we go into the next US election. So fascinating. So we're looking at sort of social media from a completely different perspective.
Yeah, I actually went to high school with Lucas, so that's quite a coincidence.
Pretty hard to him for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thanks to everyone who's watched and liked. And I'll see you next week on Like, Share, Follow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.